I hope you remember 2 weeks ago we closed the long story of human evolution. Long story of human evolution focused to the long ice age of Pleistocene geological period. It's approximately 2.5 million years ago. This is the background of human evolution. Which were the most important geographical peculiarities of human evolution? The first one, the cradle. Everybody know which is the cradle? Virtue. Cradle of humankind. It's swing in Africa. Majority of Africa, it's a warm area, of course, even in the Ice Age period. But the most important disasters which happened on Africa was the dry period. And the wave of emigration from Africa started in drought period. And when closed Ice Age, Pleistocene Ice Age, changed the climate and changed the landscape. I hope you remember, rose 100 meters the water level of global ocean, changed the vegetation, changed the flora, everything changed. And the next milestone of human evolution, the first milestone of human evolution was domestication of fire. The next milestone, domestication of plants and animals. At the dawn of civilization. Look at the story. If we are looking the history of and the steps on the subsistence system, economic system, agrarian system, we can divide to 6 periods. The first one, the hunter-gatherers. You know which is the old people and the women and the children picking, gathering edible seeds, edible plants, edible fruits, vegetables, and mass of the small human community hunt for different animals. The second one, forest fellow. Everybody know which is the fellow? Ugar. It's don't use area of the agrarian activity. Forest fellow mean it's burn down some area for cultivation and used digging sticks for turning a soil and lighting a soil a little bit. And after the first harvest, left this area. Turn back only 15 to 25 years later to the arable land. And why named forest fallow? Because so long the fallow period that even the forest vegetation recover after the 1 year cultivation. The next bush fallow, it's mean a shorter, a little bit, the fallow period, therefore not the forest, only the bush area, bush level of vegetation recover. And the short fallow, it's in the Hungarian terminology, named a 2 and a 3 field system. Probably during your secondary school, for example, in the Middle Age history, you know, the short fallow system means a 2 field system. Half of the potential arable land is arable land, and the half is grazing land for animals. And some mutation of 2 field system, the 3 field system, because the fallow only 1/3 of potential arable land, and the other 2/3 it's grain or cereals, fall cereals or autumn cereals, because the sowing period October. But the other third area is a spring cereals. For example, barley. For example, later a corn, it's sowing on the time of April or May, and the harvest period coming. No problem. Pick one supplement on the edge of table. Okay. Therefore, this system introduced even in the Roman period and became popular and general on the time of Middle Ages. In international terminology, named short fallow system. Annual cropping, this is the real rotation. No fallow, in the annual cropping, no fallow, but combine different plants and using fertilizers, artificial fertilizers. It's a great problem in the modern agriculture that majority of soil, no natural soil, but a soil under chemotherapy. Because without fertilizer, not able to produce almost anything. But it's a great dilemma. Why? Because recently the number of human population estimate to 8 million. 8 million or billion according to American English. And without fertilizer, no bread for 2 million. Therefore, it's a great dilemma. It's annulate and cancel application of chemical weapons, chemical fertilizer, and no bread for 2 million people. Okay, it's a great dilemma. Anyway, annual cropping and multi-cropping, it's a special mutation of annual cropping. What do you mean? Look at, for example, in the area of large city like Berlin, like Paris, like Budapest, there are agriculture circle which produce to the market, vegetable market, for example, of the large city. Therefore, the fallow period in the annual cropping, you can pick one piece of supplement. One piece of supplement over there. Okay. Pass the information. This is my basic goal. Okay, multi-cropping means in the case of annual cropping, the fallow period only some weeks, only some days of some weeks. In multi-cropping, no time for fallowing. Therefore, a multi-cropping area not able to produce anything without fertilizer. Why? Because it's one day. This is the harvest day, and the following day, plowing and sowing the same area. Therefore, it continues production. And we are looking the series of evolution of agrarian or subsistence system. The greatest leap and the greatest step was from hunter-gatherer to the early version of agrarian activity. Why? Because we can identify the problem of the first step toward agrarian activity. We can identify recently the small population which living according to hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Recently, whole of the world exists only 2 human community who living on the standards and lifestyle of hunter-gatherer. The first community, small tribal community, a Bushman. A Bushman living in the Kalahari Desert, southern part of Africa. And the other one, somebody know, which is the other hunting-gathering community, living in peripheral area, like a Bushmans. Eskimos, Inuits. Why? Because the Inuits, not the whole of Inuit community, Eskimo community, but some small, separated, isolated community on the northern part of Canada, almost living according to lifestyle which might happen before appearance of agrarian activity. And very interesting how try to analyze this kind of the lifestyle. Basically, anthropologists, it's quite a similar two kind of the discipline, ethnography, Hungarian is a name prize, and the anthropology. It's almost the same. Somebody know which is the differences between the, because to the first point of view, almost the same. Visiting some local community, maybe one district of for example, Szeged, or communities in Transylvania, or communities in Central Asia, and try to describe the lifestyle. Ethnographer and anthropologist similarly. Somebody know which is the differences between them? Nobody?
Anthropology is supposed to represent the evolution of certain cultures, perhaps?
But the basic difference is because it's a little bit similar, because a little bit the ethnography modernized. Therefore, the strategy and the idea, its approach to and close to each other. But the basic difference is the methodology. Which is the differences in the methodology? The methods. Ethnography based in the 19th century. This is the traditional socialization of classical disciplines, like history, like geography, like ethnography. It's a social sciences, which is the basic principle of 19th century disciplines. Separate the subject and object of research. If, for example, look at one situation in the case of Bushmans. If ethnographer would like to analyze lifestyle, hunting-gathering lifestyle of Bushmen, walk to the library, read each articles or books about this topic, make the plan of research, travel to the Bushman community, follow the plan of research, and finally publish article about the experiences. This is the 19th century strategy and the form and the methodology of research. Anthropology founded in the 20th century, 1 century later. Therefore, the methodology basically different. The first suggestion of anthropologists, not necessarily making research plan or reading too much about the topic. Because, why? Because if somebody gathering too much knowledges which produce other researcher, it's able to influence bad direction the research, because use the prejudice former scholar. Strategy of anthropologists living together with the community, living together for years, not only 1 day, 2 days. For example, I taught at the Central European University, I taught you. And one of my colleagues came from England, graduated in the Eastern England University, Michael Stewart, and traveled to Hungary, decided he was anthropologist, cultural anthropologist, living together, gypsy community. He didn't know any word Hungarian, any local languages, arrived to the Keleti pályaudvar, it's a railway station, Eastern Railway, and sent some letter to local sociologists and anthropologists living in Budapest, and asked some support, bought to him one ticket to Sajóbábony, traveled to Sajóbábony, and moved into an empty hut, you know, which is the Hungarian name, a hut, which is the Hungarian name, it's a very bad condition of building. Putri, okay, this is the Hungarian version. Moved into the small hut. And the first week would like to kill him. But the second year, he was the godfather, each newborn baby, whole of the community. And live together with local gypsy community for 3 years. And learn Hungarian, some gypsy dialect, and after summarize his experiences and started to publish. And this was a strategy of Richard Borsili, American anthropologist, who traveled to Kalahari Desert, make a very funny underpants, no more, because in tropical climate not necessary any other, no private property, only some special weapons and some devices making a fire. Okay, live together with the Bushmen. And he was the first anthropologist who published and basically rewrote the knowledges about the hunting-gathering community. The first surprising information was that hunting-gathering community is very, very dangerous living together. One third of local population is very aggressive. 1/3 of local population die not with a natural form of death. Killed by lion, killed by the other tribe, or make other hunting accident. And very important, my next guess. In the case of hunting-gathering community, 1/3 of people died with not natural death, for violence. Recently, in Hungary, for example, how many percent of death is a consequence of some kind of violence? Car accident, for example, robbery, for example, lethal attack, not natural death. How many percent? Guess. You have to tell one number only, no more. Yeah, it's normal, but you can tell. It's estimation.
5,000.
5,000
a year.
No. How many percent? Less than 100%. How many percent? Hány százalék?
Like
100% whole of the number of the death. How many?
3.
3. Okay. 1 over 3. 8.
12.
12. 2. 20. Hány százaléka a mai haláleseteknek erőszakos halál? Itt Magyarországon. How many percent? Egy számot kell. Igen. 15. Okay. The best approach is a 2%. Why? Because 1%. 1% only. In the 20th century it was a 2%. If we are looking at the civilization and evolution of civilization, the civilization transformed us step by step more peaceful. For example, I socialized in traditional society. I remember I was 5 years old when received my first knife. Because in the villages people, not for killing each other, because it's very useful devices. For example, opening a bottle or beer and any other, and cutting, for example, the cord and so on and so on. But in the traditional time, even at the beginning of 20th century, if somebody had a problem with his fellow on the neighborhood, it's pray person via person. And very interesting, for example, before the Second World War, the training book of Hungarian army wrote down that for fighting, not necessary teach the Hungarian, because the Hungarian people able to fight for nature, for natural behavior. And there is a special art, martial art in Hungary. Somebody know? It's army officer gathering the different style of punching and fighting and using knife. I don't know. I don't remember the name, but.
Graf Maga.
Yeah, but which is the Hungarian name? This kind.
Yes.
No. There is még egyszer, bocsi.
Graf Maga.
No, I know one different name, which collected by officer of Ludovica. Ludovica was the university of military education between the two world war, and this military officer gathering. I will see on the computer. Okay, but in the generation of my father, for example, each dancing fast, somebody knife and picking each other. It was a normal. For behavior, for normal behavior. Or for example, if we are going back to the Middle Ages, in the Middle Ages was a general legal concept that head of household had same legal background like a king on the country. If would like to kill somebody in the household, in the large family, nobody punished. Because a household leader is controlled with complete sovereignty of his community. Because in the Middle Ages, quite close to each other, the family and the household. Household a little bit larger, because not only the close relatives living together, but for example the serfs and some people connected temporary to the economic community. Okay, but this was the first milestone. That household leader controlled even the life of member of household. The next step, when appeared the centralized state, this is the absolute state in the history, control and the decision on the life and the death monopolized by state. Therefore, the head of household might not kill the member of his household. This was the next step. Only the state might decide about the killing a citizen of country. And the next milestone, which happened in the 20th century, that cancelled the lethal death, not lethal, how the name is, lethal punishment. It's cancelled, majority of the country. Why? Because very frequently the jury decided the lethal punishment in the case not convincible testimony, or not enough material for the final decision. I hope you understand. But in the modern time, majority of people, not only peaceful, no education, no socialization to the violence, but other side of the coin, that how the name is governmental evolution produced as special communities specialized for violence, like for example commandos, SAS, or in Hungary the TEC, some special organization, educate and train for violence. And I socialized in the traditional society. I have a knife. For example, in the elementary school, it was important punching each other and making a rank list inside of the male community. But even me, no chance for the educated warriors, educated commando members, because socialized and trained much higher level. And the good testing was the traditional warfare and the modern warfare which happened in the United States. And the local Aboriginal community, which named Indians, was a classical traditional community. Each male was a warrior in the war. And other side, if you look in the Western movies, it's good demonstration. A traditional violence and a special modernized violence. Indian tribes against American army. In long term, no chance for the victory, no chance, the traditional people. Okay, I turn back to the story. The first important and very surprising evidence of living together, very high the proportion and importance of violence. And the second important innovation and conclusion of Richard Borsili, that who became the leader of tribe, which is the principle of selection. Why became somebody the head of tribe? The strongest one, the most intelligent, the cleverest, which is the most important skill of the head of tribe.
The oldest one? The oldest one.
No. Oldest people are very important. But oldest people, you was here when we saw the fire, the movie about the fire. The oldest one, only side job received, for example, saving the seed of fire. But the oldest people, but judging who is the old one, who is the old one. Because I remember when I lived during my childhood in a small village, a 50 years people was an old one in villages community. Why? Because the living style in the traditional society is very exhaustive and everything happened much former time. For example, the general date of marriage during my childhood, not in the Middle Ages, during my childhood, in the 70s, was 20 years. 20 years. This is the normal. But recently, over 30 years old bride and bridegroom. Okay, not the oldest one.
The bravest?
No, because the bravest people is dangerous for the community. The most reliable, who everybody believe that able judge and able take into consideration the interest each of the member of the community. This was the second one, not the bravest, not the richest one, not the best hunter, not the oldest one, the most reliable person. It's good guiding force even recently in the election, in the case of election. And the third important information which published first time Richard Borsili, that how many days working in the Kalahari Desert. It's not so the best physical environment for the survival. How many days? On 7 days. How many days working, gathering the seeds, edible plants, and hunting? How many days? On 7 weeks. The local people didn't know what mean the 7 days, 1 week, but Vasily knew that. And wrote down in the calendar how many days working Baranta. You spoke a Baranta? No, Baranta is a, okay, words don't come easy, but sometimes going back, Baranta, named Baranta, is a Hungarian martial art. Baranta, okay. Which gathered a little bit same story, like for example Zoltán Kodály, who gathering in the rural area the old songs. And the officer of Hungarian army, similar manner, tried to gathering the style of killing each other. Because there is beside that an evolution. How able use, for example, a knife, the most efficient manner killing the other people. Okay, Baranta is. But turn back. How many days working for 1 week?
6.
6.
3.
3?
Every day.
Every day, it's 7.
5.
5?
3 if they switch each other.
3?
3. If they switch each other, I mean, not everyone's working, just...
Yeah, everybody working.
Oh,
But how many days?
5.
5?
Also 3. 3.
3, okay. 2 days. 2 days only. 2 days only. Very surprising. But if you are looking the outfit of women and men, no private property. Therefore, and the whole of the days, the whole of the year, vegetation, very moderate manner, but the vegetation period, no private property. And 2 days enough for gathering enough food for survival. And compare and make a ranked list of activity. And 2 days for work, and look at, for example, better condition, like for example, fertile valleys, less than 2 days was enough. Not by chance, after appearance of agrarian society, in agrarian society, how many days necessary to work? Look at the Bible. 6 days. 6 days. 6 days. Not by chance that each agrarian civilization appeared the legend of the lost Eden. Because the Eden, the Garden Eden, was the hunting gathering. Walking on the landscape, gathering edible fruits, vegetables, and so and so. 2 days, even the Kalahari desert. Even the Kalahari desert. And 4 days, this was the first of activity list of Bushman community. My guess, which was the winner? Which was the human activity which made the most frequently the Bushmen? Speaking each other. Made 1 week long activity scale, 2 days work, and 4 days speaking each other. Almost continuously. Not by chance, if somebody speaking each other almost endlessly, able to judge who is reliable and who are not. Who are not. Okay, it's very surprising invention and the conclusion were, and the most important conclusion from the point of view of agrarian revolution, that agrarian revolution for efforts, rank list of efforts, and great step back. The second question, it's so comfortable, necessary working only 2 days. Why decided the people turning toward agrarian activity? The solution and the reason, because some area, no other option, only turning from hunting gathering to agrarian activity. This is the circumscribed area. So everybody know which is closed area, closed area. Look at, for example, Mesopotamia, Syrian desert. It's a mountain area, and the Persian Gulf. It's a closed area, closed area. Increase the population, and after some level of density of population, no other option, overpopulated. Therefore, had to change the strategy of survival. Step by step is evolution. Look at, for example, Egypt, a valley of Nile, Sahara, tropical forest of Sudan, Red Sea, and the desert area, and the Mediterranean Sea, closed area. Therefore, some area on the earth had a closed area, and the inside of the closed area increased the pressure, the overpopulation pressure, step by step, because the agrarian activity had a great advantage. The early agriculture 50-fold higher carrying capacity. You know which is the carrying. How many people are able to live in same area? Therefore, the overpopulation was the triggering effect which launched this evolution. Mesopotamia, Egypt I saw, but the same situation. Indus Valley in western part of India and northern part of China or Mexico or Andes, closed area somehow, where no other option a change of subsistence system. If we are looking at human evolution, very important divide, two forms of evolution, biological evolution and social evolution. Very important, gathering information and passing to the following generation, technology and social organization. But look back to the story. It's not so important. It's jump over. Look at the domestication of fire, domestication of plants. The two plants which domesticated was wheat and the barley. Why is so important the domestication of these cereals? Because the crucial element, there is a student from Agrarian faculty, no? No? Somebody met personally with cereals, taken to the hand. Okay, you have a minimal experiences about it. This is the pike. This is the pike. In the natural condition, the behavior of these cereals during the in the ripening period, the pike open. Why? Because the basic condition of survival, the seeds are falling down and the following generation able to fertilize, following down and save the basic condition of the survival. But in evolution, there is a random mutation. A random mutation. Random mutation means that majority of cereals behave like the majority on the ripening period open. But the random mutation produces some cereals, some plants, which even the harvesting period left closed. It's suicide plants, of course, because even the ripened seeds not able to going out from the closed pike. But the human community selected these suicide plants. If we are looking the biological backpack of human species, majority of plants and animals not able survive without collaboration of human race. Like these kind of the cellars. Human selected the plants who not able to survive without human activity. Why so important? Because even the harvest period, the pikes who left closed, much easier saving the seeds inside the pikes. Okay, this is natural selection. The second one, domesticated animals. Sorry, it's not a sheep. It's too big. It's mistyping. Sheep. The first two animals who domesticated in Near East, the human race, the human communities were sheep and the goats. My guess, why? Why not the camel, the horse, the cattle? Why ideal and optimal for domestication, the sheep and the goats? Somebody had a personal experiences about these animals? No, not yet. Okay, not necessary. But you can see probably on picture very far. Okay, why? Why good for domestication? Because small, very small animal. I went together during my childhood in my village with cattle, with horses. It's very dangerous. It's a large animal. One cattle is 6 to 800 kilograms. For example, in my face there is a hurt, injured, because one cattle is picked to my face with the horn, with her horn. It's very dangerous. Compare with, for example, sheep. It's not so dangerous. Small animal. Pacifying is much easier. A little bit same situation with the goat. In the, for example, ethnography, the goat named the poor people's cattle, because much smaller, but basically the service of this animal are the same. This is the first, smaller one, not so dangerous. Second important argument beside the domestication of these animals, the herd instinct. Herd instinct, you know which is the herd instinct. It's walking together. And the shepherd able to control with help of the dogs, which domesticated much former time, able control with help of herd instinct these kind of animals. Moreover, the cradle of the humankind it swam on Africa, but from Africa no domesticated animal. Only one. Somebody know? Which animal domesticated in sub-Saharan Africa? It's a black Africa. The English name I don't know. Yöntyük. No any other animal domesticated from the cradle of humankind. Why? Why did not domesticated the hippopotamus or different kind of the goat-like or deer-like animals? Hippopotamus is very large. It's possible to a story that in the Budapest Zoo only 2 animals survive. I told you, not yet. Second longest siege of Second World War was a siege of Budapest. The first one, it was in Leningrad for 3 years, but the second one, it's a great gap. Second one was a siege of Budapest. 100 days long during fall and the winter time. It's the greatest, the longest one. And in the zoo of Budapest, only 2 animals survived the long siege. Camel and hippopotamus. The camel is not surprising because on the back there is so huge quantity of energy that able compensate the shortage of feed and anything. It's even the water, but the hippopotamus much easier. Everybody know which is the hippopotamus, Vizilo. Why? Because hippopotamus, the most dangerous, the size change between the 1 ton to 5 ton. It's quite a large animal. The secondly, hippopotamus, the most dangerous African animals. Much more people dying for attack of hippopotamus than attack of lions. And short distance mean 100 meter. It's a quicker, faster than the horse. Real horse, not water horse in Hungarian version. And the third reason of survival, that in Budapest there is a geological rupture line with thermal wells, natural thermal wells coming up, and the basin of hippopotamus fill a natural thermal well. Therefore, it's walled to the basin and no moving out. And this was the good strategy and survive, even camel and the hippopotamus. Okay, but turn back to the story. In African fauna, no domesticated animal except yöngyük. I will see the English version, but I forget. Why? For example, hippopotamus, very dangerous, and other kind, different gazellas, you know, for example, in the savannah is grazing a huge herd of gazellas. Majority of gazellas and deer-like animals too fast. For example, the Rhodesian gazella, final speed, 60 km per hour. 60. Look at, for example, shepherd in Hortobágy. Other side, size of jump in the Rhodesian gazella, 3 meters. Making a fence around these animals, unbelievable, unfeasible. Therefore, no optimal animal in sub-Saharan Africa for domestication. First. Secondly, very important that animal accept the dominance of human. Accept dominance of human. Look at, for example, in America, Northern America, had 2 animals. Grizzly bear not accept the human dominance. May test it, that generally not. And the second one, a bison. Indian people try to domesticate without success. Therefore, whole of America, no large animal which optimal for domestication. Only 2 areas had lot of mammals, large mammals, which able to accept the dominance of human. Near East, cattle, goat, and Central Asia. This is the area of horse domestication. Okay, good. If we are looking at the human evolution, we can divide according to revolution. The first revolution was Agrarian revolution, domestication of animals and domestication of plants. The second one, urban revolution, is founding not only the small villages but large communities. And finally, industrial revolution. Industrial revolution happened at the turn of 18th and 19th century. Okay, which is the conclusion and the consequences of agrarian revolution? The first, diets became more monotonous because each of agrarian society had a dominant plant. For example, in Near East, the wheat is the dominant seed. In Americas, corn, dominant, or maize, other name, and Asia, rice. Therefore, these plants dominate the agrarian production of agrarian empire. The second one, a sedentary life. not moving, not wandering. The majority of people make settlements and living together on the same place. And it's very dangerous because the sedentary life is ideal for proliferation of epidemics. Therefore, appear the first period of proliferation of infection. In the hunting gathering, if somebody, the shaman, wasn't able to curing, left alone, separate from the community. Therefore, no chance for disease, no chance for epidemics. But in the sedentary life, ideal condition made for epidemics. Sedentary life allow rise of fertility, increase the population, the carrying capacity of agrarian activity 50-fold higher than hunting gathering, but caused higher mortality for proliferation of infection. Human lives tended to be briefer and the bodies shorter. It's possible, I told to you, that the body reacts to the condition of feeding, condition of physical environment. Look at, for example, general prejudice about the Asian people. Which is the general prejudice about the Asian people? It's a short one. But very important to realize. Look at, for example, which is the Encyclopedia of World Records. Guinness World Records Encyclopedia. The tallest man, Chinese. Why made this prejudice about the Asian people? Because majority of Asian agrarian empire based to rice. It's a general mention in the Chinese history for survival. Enough one hand size rice for one people. Therefore, in agrarian society had two kinds of underfeeding. Qualitative underfeeding and quantitative underfeeding. Quantitative underfeeding means not enough calorie. A qualitative underfeeding, not enough fine element of the feeding, nutrition, trace element, and the vitamins, and how react the body for the quantitative underfeeding. And it's critical, will die, and susceptible for infection, but no critical level, decrease the size of body. Decrease the size of body. A qualitative and quantitative optimal, but qualitative and quantitative underfeeding decrease. Moreover, decrease the size of body. Look at, for example, Hungarian history. Look at, for example, a generation of the conqueror of the Carpathian Basin. It's a nomadic people. Ate not only cereals, but meat and vegetables and the fruits and everything. It's mixture. It's a large mixture. Size of body of male, symmetry. We know the size of body from archaeological reconstruction was the same. Recently, the Hungarian male average size of body changed around 171 centimeter. This is the average recently. And the conqueror of Carpathian Basin was the same. But look at, for example, 18th century. 18th century was a critical period of Hungarian history after the Turkish War period. Increased the population because at the beginning of 18th century, Hungarian population, population of Hungary was 8 million. At the end of 18th century, 10 million, more than doubled, with the same technology of agrarian production. Therefore, the population is lived in underfeeding, condition of underfeeding. And a Habsburg Empire participated two great war in during the 18th century, and the recruited soldier in Hungary. And two elementary information recorded about the recruited Hungarian soldier. This one crucial information, size of body. Size of body, average size of body was 162 centimeter. Much smaller because qualitative underfeeding decreased the size of body. Somebody know which was the other information which wrote down by doctors of Habsburg army?
The teeth.
Yeah, the teeth. Why? Because majority of military food, it's a dry food. If somebody not enough teeth, not able to save the physical condition. Not able to save the physical condition. Okay, and for example, I am not my size not a typical basketball player. But for example, I remember during my childhood when I went to the building constructed in the 19th century, the doorway so small that I nicked my forehead generally. Why? Because the average size of body in the 19th century much shorter. Moreover, in DNA copy, the chain of DNA copy, the memory of shortage, the body and the DNA, I don't know, I'm not an expert in this question, but in the general information I have, save at least 3 generations. If, for example, a grandfather or grandmother during the Second World War lived in shortage, in famine, in hunger, the consequences, genetical consequences, save even the grandson. Therefore, not so easy to improve the condition of heritage material. Okay, sedentary life, higher mortality, human life then that became briefer and the body shorter. Nostalgia for the lost paradise and the pre-agrarian area. Look at the Bible, Old Testament. Started with the creation of the world, but the second great chapter is the lost paradise. Not only in the Jews, but in Sumerian, in Egyptian, each great civilization had a story about the lost paradise. Pollution, water and the air, of course, living together, high density of population, and very important consequence of domestication of animals and plants, appearance a hierarchized society with 2 new social classes, priests and the warriors, who directly don't participate in the production. But the priest, its function somehow in the chain of the production, it's a resource manager, because he organized, for example, and defining the date of harvest, date of sowing, date of flood of Nile, for example, in the Egyptian civilization. But the warriors, it's very far for the primary production, but necessary to pay taxes for that. Size of post-glacial hunters, it's archaeological reconstruction. In the case of man, 1 meter 78 centimeter. In the agricultural society in Egypt, 1 meter 60 centimeter, and woman 1 meter 68 centimeter. It's post-glacial hunters, and the agricultural society 1 meter 54 centimeters. It's basically derived back to the diets. Okay, very important consequence of appearance of civilization, the control, Triad of control. It's published first time a British scholar, Norbert Elias. It's translated to Hungary, the book, very seminal book titled Civilizing Process. Triad of control. Everybody listened about the triad of control. Each civilization, even the Egypt, even the recent Hungary, had a free form of control of citizen. The first extra-human processes. Control of extra-human. What mean? It's controlling landscape, controlling the buildings, the environment of society. For example, cutting down the grass and, for example, making dams beside two sides of the river, checking the physical environment, domesticate somehow the physical environment. And the second form of triad of control, interhuman processes. What mean the interhuman processes? Interaction between humans. The legal system direct the interaction between humans. This is the second form of control. And the intrahuman process is focused to the thought, to the thinking of human. Not only the modern society, leader of modern society would like to know the knowledge and the thinking of human, of the citizen, but even in Sumerian society. And the secret service organized even in city of Uruk. It's a Gilgamesh city in the Sumerian society. Every time, each civilization had free form of the control. Every time, everywhere. Extra-human would like to control the physical environment. Interhuman, the interaction between humans and the thinking of and the thought of the human try to control. How? Betray each other. Betray each other. Okay. If we are looking at the agrarianization, this is the fertile question. It's connected partly Mesopotamia and partly it's a peninsula Sinai, connected with valley of Nile. Okay, this was the first one, agrarian evolution or agricultural evolution, over. Look at the urban evolution. Look at the urban evolution. The most important criteria of urban evolution, appearance of the city, domestication of animals and domestication of plants. Simple tools for energy conversion, wheel and the sail. Wheel and the sail. Solar calendar, why? Because agrarian society is not able to organize without a reliable calendar. It's guiding the works, guiding the activities. Without solar calendar, it's not possible. And the metal working. Somebody know in which area made the first iron devices? Anatolia. According to archaeological reconstruction, the first area, and which is the key innovation of metallurgy. Charcoal. Fossil. Charcoal. Why? Because the trees, the fire based to the tree, it's able to produce only 3,000 kilojoule energy. And for melting of iron, necessary a double 6 to 7,000. And the charcoal making, I didn't spoke about the cartoon Shushu, the dragon. I spoke about. This is the charcoal making. And in Anatolia, made first time the charcoal, and the charcoal is 7 to 8,000 kilojoule. Able to make iron and melting of iron. Metalworking improved the efficiency. Of the agrarian activity compared with the stone devices. Okay, the first city which described even in the Bible was Jericho. Jericho located between the Dead Sea. You know the Dead Sea. Why Dead Sea?
It has a high salt concentration.
High saline concentration, and I told you a story that in Carpathian Basin even there is a similar lake like a Dead Sea that the people are able to floating on the water. I spoke about. Okay, it's Sovata, not so far, in Transylvania. Because inside of the Carpathian Basin, in the geological past, was a great bay of ocean, and evaporated water, and large area under the soil. There are salt saline cells in Transylvania and the northeast one of eastern part of Carpathian Basin. In the traditional name of this counties is Amara Maros. It's great area of salt production. Okay, Dead Sea and the great river of Jordan. In this city lived approximately 3,000 dwellers. 3,000 dwellers. Compared with the small villages with some 100 or 200 inhabitants, this was a real great city. But the real city, before the looking of city, very important define what means the city, which is the differences between the hut, between the villages, which is the new quality of the city. For this kind of approach, necessary define the term, the meaning of city. In the history, there are a strategy of definition. Like, for example, in hospital. If you go to the hospital, for example, you speak, I have a stomach ache. The first protocol, for example, looking the fever and the blood test and so on. So there is a protocol for judging which is the final reason of the stomach ache. A little bit the strategy of history is the same. The first step, if you would like to define something, look at the contemporaries who lived in different period, antiquity, Middle Ages, recent time, because first cities even appeared at the dawn of human evolution. Look at what thought about the city contemporaries. For example, at the turn of antiquity and the Middle Ages, Saint Augustine, he was a saint of Roman Catholic Church, defined the cities. City is where a forum is kept. It's a very interesting definition. Why? Because the crucial element of his definition, a forum. Which is the forum? This is the political platform. This is the economic platform. Because this is the market. It's the actor and the vendor meet one to other and buying, selling, everything. And cultural platform. Because the people who would like to discuss with each other, would like to tell something, for example, a political leader and a religious leader tell the arguments for the local people. Therefore, the forum, it's a free meaning at least, a political and economic and cultural. Verbucci, a Hungarian lawyer, tried to define at the turn of 15th and 16th century, and he defined the city houses surrounded with the city is houses surrounded with necessary walls. It's very important. The real city is circumscribed with walls. Without walls, no city. And stone-based walls. The real city. And on top, honest living there is privileged. The privilege is mean some better position or exception. Why so important exception? Because the Middle Ages, the most important classes, the peasant who working on the field and the landowner, the nobility who were the owner of the field. But some people, like for example artisan, like intellectual, like for example priest, no connection to the field. Therefore, the medieval law mean and marriage, this special circle of people are exception. Privilege means exception. Okay. If we try to summarize the opinion of contemporaries, it's cultural identity, economic identity, and political identity-based area, circumscribed with walls, and the special state, special position. Okay, this was the first step. The second step in the protocol of history in the definition, look at other disciplines who specialize to the analyzing of cities. For example, geography. How define the geography as city? The first step of geographical definition, the settlement, city is the settlement on taking advantage of the positional energy the most intensively. Look at, for example of Szeged. Which are the geographical energy of Szeged? The first, a river, but it's not enough. Very important to realize in the case of Szeged, that Szeged not only the city to Tisza, one river, but city to, and similarly, to the Maros. If you are walking not so far, only 1 kilometer northward, this is the place when a Maros river flowing into the Tisza. Why so important? Probably you know that one of the most important city on the core area of Transylvania named Marosvásárhely. Why? Because the Maros is flowing through whole of the basin of Transylvania. Therefore, Szeged became one of the most important city whole of the Hungarian plain. Very important to mention that the side of Hungarian plain, the Great Hungarian plain, 100,000 square kilometers, larger than the real size of the country after Triad. Okay, arrive the Maros and the products of Transylvania transport to Szeged, and Szeged became place of distribution. One of the most important goods of distribution was the salt. Salt. It's a cubic salt. Why so important? Recently it's very cheap raw material of cooking in the shop and supermarket. But in the Middle Ages, the price of the salt much higher. Look at, for example, budget of Hungarian kingdom. A normal budget of Hungarian kingdom, because Matthias was exceptional, it's gathering much higher rate of the tax, but a normal king situation, the income of Hungarian kingdom, 250,000 gold ducats. And from this income, 8,000 came from salt trade. Only. Therefore, this is the reason why became Szeged exceptionally the first free royal city. No any other city, no Debrecen, no Kecskemét, only market city, much lower status. Moreover, probably you don't know that Szeged was a marshland area originally. Szeged never had a wall, which was a criterion of making a free royal city. Which is the solution? Szeged was a marshland area with islands. For example, Alsóváros, Felsőváros, Palag. Free island. And only 2 highway, it's drove out from this. This is the Maros, this river, this is the Palag, not sure. This was all. And from this marshland area, it's constructed only 2 routes, one to the direction of Pest, and the other one to the direction of Baja. When the routes left the marshland area, constructed 2 forts, which checked and controlled the traffic and the transport on these routes. But not necessarily control, not necessarily construct wall around the cities. Why? Because the normal level of Szeged is under the middle water level of Tisza. Only the island, the small island, and the communication between the island based to the boat and the mobile bridges. It's moved and take to one place to other. Not static bridges, mobile bridges. For example, this was the advantage of Hungary, not Hungary, Szeged, energy of geographical position. And very important to mention from definition of geography, city and the region. Each city, there are a region. Look at, for example, Marsh Square Market. Look at the seller arrived from neighborhood of Szeged. And you ask the identity, the local identity of sellers, you can define the region around the Szeged. And the function of city. Each city had a lot of function. Three groups of the function we can define: political, administrative function, economic function, and cultural and medical function. Majority of cities had each element of the function, but we can find in the European history or global history some cities only one function. Look at, for example, Oxford or Cambridge. Only one function is education. In the Hungarian history was one similar city, Sarospatak. Sarospatak, until the Second World War, was the most important educational city. Beside Sarospatak had airport. Because the richest citizen of Hungary sent the child to learn to the secondary school of Sarospatak, which was a bilingual education. Not German, English and Hungarian. With college system, with, for example, different level of college. The highest college was the English college, with uniform, with education of sword fighting, lot of different languages, and the cheapest one, this was the peasant college. But after the Second World War, this special project of Sarospatak, who was based on the Reformed Church, expired. But between the two World War period, Sarospatak almost the same that in the scholar history in England, Eton was the similar, like Sarospatak. Okay, look at the next one. This is the last slide, because if we are looking at the history, we can use two forms of definition. The first form of definition, which you saw in the case of Habsburg, Verbőci, it's a snake, a long sentence snake. You remember? House is surrounded with necessary walls. This is one strategy of definition. But other, I prefer this kind of the definition. Look at not a long sentence, but looking criteria. If there are these criteria, is city? It's not city. Look at the definition of city. I borrowed from the London School, Cambridge Economic History. It's a generally accepted manual of history, used whole of the human history, these 5 criteria of city. The first one, high number and high density of population, is generally true, but look at, for example, Norway. Somebody visited in Norway? Norway? Not yet. It's a very special country, recently the richest country whole of the world, but its history of Norway and Norwegian is very thorough. Hungarians complain a lot that Hungarian history is so bloody and so thorough compared with the Norwegian history. Norway, it's a peripheral agrarian area and partly occupied Sweden and Denmark and Swedish, and it was a peripheral colony of other Scandinavian country. But the God finally decided that in the 20th century, in the 70s, found so much oil and any fossil fuel under the Norwegian Sea that recently no problem with the budget of Norway, richest country, and disdain, for example, the Sweden, it's a poor people from the perspective of Norwegian. But the majority of Norwegian history was very, very bad and very thorough. A little bit same story Bulgaria. Probably you know in the news that recently in the international rank list only one country is under Hungary, is Bulgaria. Bulgaria is unbelievable bad story. The heyday of Bulgarian history happened in the 9th and the 10th century, which for example founded a great empire temporarily, it's very short time, but Bulgaria first time it's fought a lot with Serbian and Byzantine Empire, and later for not only 1.5 century, 6 century occupied by Turkish Empire. And the Bulgarian language and Bulgarian tradition survived only based to the Orthodox Church. And on the mountain area, I don't remember the name of this monk community, but in the mountain area saved the Bulgarian history in the monasteries. It's a secret places. It's unbelievable, unbelievable harsh history was the Bulgarians' history. Okay, but turn back to the Norway, and we'll expire the time. In Norway, the criterion of city status, 200 people, and the distance between buildings no more than 200 meters. Why? Very, very low density of population. Therefore, if some settlement able to offer 200 people and dense population mean no more than 200 meters are between the buildings, it's maybe perform the criteria of city status. If you will travel, for example, I visited only once in Oslo, the southeast position, whole of the Norwegian settlements, the southeast one, and the greenest, the most green city, whole of the world. Not by chance, the deer, reindeer, you know which is the reindeer. Reindeer, during the winter time, wandering down southward, and very frequently appearing in the downtown of Oslo. Why? Because the park area is so large that the reindeer wasn't able to realize this is a city. It's a very special situation, and arrived some policemen and driving back toward mountain and the forest area. Okay. We will continue the definition. We perform the first criterion, high number and high density of population. But recently, somebody know in Hungary, which is the lowest criteria, how many people necessary to live? No lowest criterion. Look at, for example, Sándorfalva, not so far. Somebody visited in Sándorfalva. Sándorfalva is a city. And there is a graffiti which I found in Sándorfalva. This village is city. This is some joke for it. Okay, thanks a lot for your attention.